It's day 24 of the carnivore diet for me. Today we're going to talk about weight loss, wins, some of my struggles, and I'm also going to give a few shout outs to some of you that have been commenting on my videos. Today I wanted to do this video outside because we have been having a horrible heat wave the last week. We've had high temps, high humidity. Yesterday I think the heat index was 110. And today we finally have a break in all of that. It's only supposed to be 80 degrees today with a lot lower humidity. So we're out here soaking up some vitamin D while we do our video. Today I weighed a day early because I want to weigh on Saturdays instead of Sundays so that I have time to produce these videos for you. Today was interesting when I weighed. Overall, I can tell that I've lost about 0.2 pounds, but I think it's more than that, and I will tell you why in a little bit. And last week, I noticed that when I put my weight into my spreadsheet that calculates my weight loss, I had actually lost 13 pounds and not 12 due to the decimals. So, yay, an extra pound last week. So 13.2 pounds so far. Next week when I weigh, I will have been on the carnivore diet for 30 days. So there will be some extra things next week. It won't just be weight loss. I'm going to do some comparison pictures to when I first started because I do feel like some things are changing as far as my body composition, and I think it'll be a little more visible when I take the pictures. At least I hope so. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and follow my journey and give me some comments. And if there's one person out there who is like me that has been a yo-yo dieter all their life and has struggled with weight loss, I hope that I could help just one person by talking about the carnivore diet. So let's talk about my wins this week. One big win for me this week is that I'm still here. I have made it through 24 days, and I'm just going to keep going to at least 90 days and probably beyond if I get some really good results with this. The other thing I want to count as a win this week is that I'm learning more how my body works. Everybody's different, and through this I'm feeling like I'm learning what food does to my body, and I'm also feeling like I said earlier about some sort of body recompositioning starting to happen. I feel like, if it makes any sense, I feel like my body is tighter, like there's something going on there. My pants are looser, so I know that there's something going on. And next week when I take my measurements, because I also took my starting measurements, I hope to see some inches lost in those measurements next week. Some issues that I've been having. This morning was really interesting with the scale. So this last week I have been feeling like my lower legs are tighter, like I'm retaining some fluid, like I've got some inflammation down in my lower legs. A lot of it has to do with the fact that I have a desk job. So even though I'm trying to get up like at least every hour and walk a little bit, I also have a stand-up desk that I can pull up and stand up. I've been trying to stand up a little more. Even having that, every day I feel like it, through the week, I feel like my legs get tighter. And I'm not quite sure what to do about that because, I mean, that's my bread and butter. That's some of our income. But I think what I might do is, I haven't been taking a break in the afternoons. I may start taking a break and just doing some extra walking, because I've also noticed that since I got a fitness watch, that I am not even hitting the minimum average steps due to always sitting at a desk. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take a walk in the afternoon, and maybe that might help alleviate some of the tightness in my legs and some of the fluid retention that I'm getting. I also recently purchased kind of a leg stool for under a desk that I'm going to take to work, and hopefully that will also help alleviate some of the, and I think it has to do with like blood flow and things like that when you're sitting. So anyway, so hopefully that will work. So what happened with the scale this morning was really interesting. So I got up about 7 o'clock in the morning. I stepped on the scale, and it had showed that I gained about 1.5 pounds. Well, all of a sudden I started having to pee a lot. So I would pee, and I know that's, you know, maybe TMI, but I kept having to pee all throughout the next couple of hours. And I think what was happening is my body was getting rid of some of that inflammation. So after 2 hours, I lost nearly 2 pounds on the scale due to my body getting rid of some of that extra fluid. So I actually ended up losing, from what I can tell, 0.2 pounds, but I still feel like I have some inflammation. So I have a feeling that I'm going to be getting rid of more of that throughout the day, because typically on the weekend I'm more active than I am during the week. So I'm going to go ahead and weigh tomorrow morning again just to see what it says and try to alleviate that problem this week at work through the methods that I just discussed. But I sort of have a love-hate relationship with the scale. I don't want to pin everything on the scale, because in the past when I've done that, it's been discouraging to me. So I'd rather go by how my clothes feel and if I've lost inches. So crossing our fingers for next week when I do my measurements. And if you've ever been on a weight loss program before, you know that weight loss is not linear. So it'll go down, then maybe up a little bit, then down again, then maybe up a little bit, then down again. That's just how weight loss goes, and it's different for everyone. So on the carnivore diet, it's not about calories. It's not about counting macros, like how much, fat is in your diet as compared to protein, as compared to carbohydrates or whatever. It's not about counting calories and macros. In fact, it's actually discouraged to count calories and macros. I mean, when you think about it, for thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of years, the main diet for the human species was fatty meat, and every now and then some berries and plants, maybe if they're starving, but the preferred was meat. But they didn't count calories, and they didn't count macros. Nowhere in history do we read that man counted calories and macros. And in order for this to be something that I can stay on and something that I can continue to do throughout my life, I don't want to count calories. I don't want to count macros. I've been there before. It's a pain in the booty. So I want to eat naturally. Another thing about this diet is you're supposed to eat when you are hungry. Eat until you are comfortably full, and then don't eat again until you're actually physically hungry again. I'm having a problem with this. I'm struggling with this because as a society, we've developed 3 times of the day to eat. So you got breakfast, you got lunch, and you got dinner. So breakfast when you wake up in the morning, lunch around noonish, and then dinner anywhere from like 6 to 8 depending on your family. And I'm struggling with this at work because my hunger seems to come on around 9 or 10 in the morning. And then maybe again later in the afternoon. Well, I have a full-time job, and my employer has specific hours for your lunch and specific hours for dinner. And my hunger doesn't really fit with those hours. So I'm struggling a little bit about what to do about that, because I can't really eat when I'm hungry during the week. And I'm afraid that if I fast all day long, I'm just going to be depriving my body, and my body's not going to like it. And then that leads to overeating when you do eat. So I'd like your help on that. If you have any suggestions for me about that, I would really appreciate it. I also really haven't been following the BBBE, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs super strictly. I've added in some other meats because the cost of, red meat is quite a bit. But I've added in quite a bit of pork this last week, and I wonder if that's having some kind of effect on me. So I need to kind of follow more closely with the BBBE type of diet and leave out some of the cheese, because cheese is addictive. It's got stuff in it that is concentrated, that is addicting, so I need to really cut that out. And that brings me to the next topic, which is what I've been eating the last couple of days. Lunches for work for me are, I usually try to make extra the night before so that I can have a little leftover to take to lunch the next day. And here I've got some leftover charcoal steak, and then that day at work they had hamburgers. So I just asked for a hamburger patty and I put a slice of cheese on it, again with the cheese, right? So that was lunch at work one day. Another lunch at work, Dan, I don't know if you know this, but fast food restaurants, the better quality fast food restaurants, if there really is a better quality fast food restaurant, right? But our local Hardee's fast food restaurant, I think they call it Carl's Jr. maybe in some other parts of the country, but it's called Hardee's here, and their beef patties are all beef with no fillers. So one day, Dan and I wanted to have lunch together, and he brought some beef patties from Hardee's, because a lot of fast food restaurants will sell their beef patties individually if you ask for it. So $2 a patty. I think Dan got us 3 patties each, and again I put cheese on it. Hello. But that was one of my lunches at work also in the last few days. So for dinner in the last couple days, I got out some thick, juicy Iowa pork chops and pan fried them with a little hardcore black seasoning. And those are really good. But if you know about pork chops, you know that they're pretty lean. So I went ahead and put some butter on it. And then I had several slices of bacon with it. Oh my God, I love bacon. Bacon is awesome. So anyway, so that's what I had for one of my dinners. And we've also had breakfast for dinner. So we've had eggs and bacon for dinner. All these eggs weren't mine. Half of them were Dan's. But so yeah, breakfast for dinner is good too. We have a lot of eggs on our acreage because we do have a fairly large chicken flock. I think we have like 21 hens right now that lay eggs. So we have a lot of eggs, and that's a good source for us. And so we're probably going to start eating more eggs because now we're kind of getting an excess of eggs. So we're going to start eating more eggs. Now, as I said before, carnivore diet is not about counting calories or macros. And so even though the scale kind of did me dirty this morning, I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to trust the process. I want to have the benefits that are other than weight loss also from the carnivore diet. So I'm not going to hang my hat on just on weight loss. And I'm guessing that when I get rid of this inflammation, the scale is going to be kinder to me next week. And it's not a diet of perfection. Nobody's perfect. And everybody is different. Everybody has a different body and things that work differently for them over others. So I'm just going to keep trusting the process. Couple of shout outs. Miss J has been commenting just a little bit with me back and forth over at J and E Homestead. channel. She started the Carnivore Diet, must be 6 days ago now, Mrs. J. I'm not sure, 6 or 7 days. I want to know how you're doing. What's going on? Is it working well for you? I'm so glad that you're doing this the same time as I am. So let me know how you're doing. I also want to give a shout out to Classic Jukebox Band. On one of my videos, they commented that the real benefits start showing up after 3 to 4 weeks on the carnivore diet. And that's just really encouraging to me to stick with it so that I can see those benefits. And I'm extending that to 90 days so I can really see how my body responds to this diet. So thank you so much for that. And then Sarah commented on my last video about getting rid of my side business, which I can't do anymore now that I know what I know about processed sugar. But I was making freeze-dried candy and specialty jam laden with processed sugar. And so I need to stop that. I'm selling off what I have and then that's it. But Sarah made a comment that said, I've gone from dealer to healer. And that's really inspiring to me because obviously if I can help one person that's like me, who is addicted to processed foods and carbs and sugar, then I will be ecstatic. I will be over the moon. And so I really appreciate that comment, Sarah. Thank you so much. And if any of you out there have any words of encouragement, tips, suggestions, please leave a comment. It really does help me. I read all the comments and try to respond to every single one, and I do appreciate them, so please leave me a comment. And now I hope that you're having a really great day and that your area of the world is cooler than my area of the world right now. I appreciate you being here. Until next time.